because you have to pay taxes. That's it. Companies exist only for monetary and litigation reasons. They provide a buffer between you and someone suing you, and it's so that you can accept money and not pay it personally out of as a not using a Schedule C for you personally and paying ridiculous amounts. But anyhow, that's basically why you want to form a company. There are a lot of different legal entities that serve as companies. The easiest one is sole proprietorship. Then there's a partnership, limited liability, sole proprietorship, limited liability, partnership, limited liability corporation, and then you get into corporations like Schedule C corporations. AP Change, our company, is limited liability. Thank you so much. Is an LLC, which provides some measure of. I didn't see anyone cringe, but I suddenly noticed I was opening like I was going to spray all over the projector. Is a limited liability corporation, which basically means you can do. It's like a full corporation light, almost. You can. There are two different ways you can pay your taxes through it, either as an individual or through the company. You have a little bit of buffering from litigation, so they can't get your personal assets if you get sued. Particularly if you're going to business with someone else, it's probably the way to go. But worst case scenario, you form an LLC, and the LLC buys the sole proprietorship.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably no reason at all for, if you're doing any kind of open source work and consulting, to be a corporation proper.
Full Schedule C corporation requires a lot of paperwork to file. LLC, on the other hand, if you're filing in Ohio at least, it's 3 pages, which is basically your name, and address a lot of times, 3 or 4 signatures, I think, too, and $125. And you're an LLC. Of course you have to wait for the Secretary of State to deal with it, and Ken Blackwell is slow. But that's roughly it. Sole proprietorships, even easier. Generally, you should probably register your company's name just so that other people don't run in and steal it. But since we're all dealing in tech in some way, shape, or form, if you own the domain name, no one else is going to try to take the name probably, except to register a company and then sue the name out of you, the domain out of you. But try to avoid situations where you're like that. Registering the name is about $50. It's 1 sheet of paper, I think. You might be able to do it online. Maybe.
No, I think I should mail it in.
Okay, that's a lie. Delaware, you can do it online. Other things to look into is where you're based. Where do you have mailing addresses that you can use that are tax-friendly? Cleveland Heights is highway robbery. So our company is officially based in Medina County, which is slightly better. You do need an address there, or you need someone to do it. Law firms will do that and serve as your contact representative for your company. Costs money. But if you're just doing it yourself, it's something to pay attention to. A lot of Schedule C corporations file in Delaware and New Mexico, Arizona.
I think it's
because they have very friendly corporate tax structures, and a lot of politicians have been bought off to get it that way or something. But those are just some things to think about.
So basically, if you're filing in Ohio, is anything other than if you're filing as like an LLC or something that's not a full corporation, you don't need to pay a lawyer. And some people make a mistake of paying a lawyer to do that kind of thing right away. But no, unless you're running into something that I don't know what's going on here, or I feel there's going to be a problem, you do not want to waste that money.
Here's a hint for if you're doing something, particularly if you have competitors who are sort of at the same level as you. Chances are your Secretary of State, definitely if you're in Ohio, if you're in most other states too as well, they have business searches, and those forms are online. Look up your competitors' forms, take a look and see, how they filled theirs out, and particularly for LLCs where it's short, you can just take a look at a lot of them and learn how to do it very quickly. Because like I said, it's your name, signature, and $125 a lot of times. Not the $125. Signatures. There's some other things that you're going to need to do at filing that aren't legally required but are really good ideas. Business plan. You're going to want a business plan. If it's just you're probably okay getting away without one, because all the money that you make goes to you.
You should still
if you
have
don't
an
make
idea
clients,
of where you're going.
Yeah, and actually the 16 questions you should ask yourself when starting a company that we have sitting up here are probably a good starting place. Business plan can be really simple. It's just where are my clients? What am I providing? Why am I doing this? And why is what I'm offering worth something to anyone? Particularly if you ever need funding from someone for some reason or another. If you need a loan from a bank, if you're trying to get VC, don't. You need...
We should probably explain why that doesn't make any sense. VC doesn't make any sense in this context.
Steal from your friends and family.
I think it's, we really think it's a good idea to just go work up yourself. VC is not a good idea, especially what we're doing. We don't actually have IP. So if you're going for VC, you're going to be answering to someone down the line, basically, who's like, "What are you doing with my money?" And your company may go in directions that you didn't necessarily intend it to or want it to, and it'll be out of your hands.
Because hopefully that's the reason that people end up starting businesses, particularly at this level, is they want to be in control of what they're doing and, be their own boss. Try to keep it that way, I think. And most of, particularly in open source, where you have low startup costs, you should be able to get away without needing upfront funding. It's really tempting, particularly if you think you have something good going, get lots of VC, buy Jaguar. But remember that you have to answer for that down the line. And you don't get free money, ever. There's no such thing. So anyhow, having a business plan, though, if you need a loan from a bank for some reason, if you're doing video streaming, for instance, and need to drop an OC3 somewhere or something ridiculous like that to get the bandwidth that you're going to need, chances are, if you don't have massive savings, you might need to get a loan for that. A bank, to give a business a loan, particularly if you aren't very well established. Okay, two things. One, they're going to want to see your business plan and make sure that they're going to be able to get their money back, and that the way that you interpret that is from the business plan. And the other thing is they're going to want to see that you're fronting money in some way too. Takes money to get money, something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, you have to have money to get money, and so it's kind of like you try to work your way up from nothing, but you really, to move out and get more capital, you have to have capital in there, and that's why this is why things fail a lot. But it's definitely the best way to go. I don't think VC is that's the right way to go. But
that's just us grinding an axe. Another thing that you're going to want to have in place is Constitution? No, Articles of Incorporation.
You need,
what's the word? Bylaws.
Bylaws, yeah.
Bylaws.
You don't need that.
If you can't tell, I've been working on filing a nonprofit recently, but you need bylaws, because right now, if we had a major falling out of some type, I think you get everything because your name was on the check that went to the state. But you want to have some type of yes, you can have our servers. Because again, we have no IP, so he doesn't get anything at all. But if you do have some type of falling out, your bylaws are what protects the members of the partnership from evil people like Mr. Hannock running away with all of your hard-earned work and client lists and things like that. And just having that background in place. Anything else?
And the only other thing I think here would be just the things we've glanced over is like NDAs and MOUs and things like that. Like, always, people will screw you over. Just any chance they get.
In government.
No, anywhere. They don't care. Anybody you're talking to, especially if you're working with someone else. For example, we were talking subcontracting. We're subcontracting to a company or something. We don't do anything unless we have a non-disclosure agreement. Do they hold up? Well, sometimes. But it's basically some layer of protection that says you cannot screw us over.
An MOU helps a lot.
At least without a fight,
Particularly because as a small business, you can't afford good lawyers. Or possibly even lawyers at all. One of the things that you're going to want to spend money on with a lawyer right away is, help me write an NDA and help me write a standard MOU. NDA, if anyone's not familiar with it, non-disclosure agreement, often you'll end up, if you're working with another business, MNDA, mutual non-disclosure agreement, basically just says that things you talk about with each other have to stay between each other, and you can't profit off of it. And there's all sorts of different legal terminology clauses that get thrown on there, like non-compete agreements, which are ridiculous and you should cross out and make sure don't exist on anything that you sign.
Yeah.
MOUs is just sort of, think about it as contract light. Memorandum of understanding.
Yeah, you need to have something, just something written down. If Billy or whoever you're working for says they're going to pay you $500 or something, just the terrible example. If they don't write it down, they'll be like, "Oh, what?" If you're not written down, you have absolutely nothing. Make it written down. I mean, sure, there's trust. They have to trust us to want to give us business. You do not have to trust them. Make them write it down. You need to.
Unless it's in paper, it didn't happen. Don't trust handshake agreements or, oral contracts or whatever, because, again, that requires a lawyer in court to resolve if there's a conflict involved. If it's in paper, no one can argue about it.
At minimal, you would need it in an email. Like, please outline exactly what we're doing and send it to me. So at least there's some sort of record.
Buy a fax machine so you can fax these back and forth with signatures on them. Fax machines are cheap. Or plug in a computer. There may be. The trouble is that MOUs change from contract to or from business opportunity to business opportunity based on what you're providing and what the agreement is. Maybe. I'm sorry, I can't answer that better. Nick, do you know?
No, I don't know.
Okay. We're not lawyers. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, the same thing is like, do not take anything we are saying as legal advice, since neither of us are actually lawyers. We're also not accountants. Do not sue us for anything involving your legal or financial matters.
My rule of thumb when it comes to accounting and tax matters is if you think that you found out something clever to do in accounting or with taxes, it's probably illegal. Or yeah. So don't try to funnel funds around in funny ways. You'll just get screwed later on.
Yeah. And then just keep track of everything and don't mess. They'll get you. And that's just a matter of time.
Remember that unlike individuals, the IRS, it's much more likely for a business to get audited by the IRS. So having decent records is a really good idea. A really good idea. I'm not speaking from experience right now, but it would suck a lot.
Yeah, we haven't had that yet. So I think we can.
Are we up to our quick break? Good. Take a break.
Let's take a quick break and grab
I need to go to the bathroom and drink more water. So
we'll take like 5 minutes if that's okay. What do we know? Can I turn off the wireless microphone? What?
Yeah. There's a mute switch.
Got it. I know that now.
Everyone learns it the hard way.
Go for it. Wicker Man. You're not gonna know the Wicker Man. You should though.